So if you want to devote your life to curing disease, the Oculus division of Facebook is apparently not the place to do it. At least that's the lesson I've chosen to take from the news that Facebook's executive director of engineering and the head of display technologies at Oculus is leaving the company to work on curing disease. Mary Lou Jepsen, she is a pioneer in display technology. She worked at Oculus, Google, Philips, Intel, MIT. She was the CTO and co-founder of the nonprofit One Laptop per Child. She is leaving the company. She told a packed house at the Anita Borg Women of Vision Awards that she plans to work on new imaging technology that will attempt to cure diseases by shrinking MRI machines into a wearable. It's much more complicated than that, but that's basically the idea. And it's fascinating, and she is really the woman to do it. She has such a history in this field, and it's fascinating that she's doing this. So she's also joined an automotive company, she says. She had brain surgery herself. Mm-hmm. So she's fascinated with the brain. She has this great TED Talk. I highly recommend anyone watching it if they're interested. She says that this technology could help treat cancer, cardiovascular disease, mental disorders, neurodegenerative disease. It's fascinating. So you did a little more research too on this.
Yeah, I mean, there was right before the show, probably about 20 minutes before the show, there was an article posted on xeconomy.com, which I guess the guy that writes that article normally checks in with her on other topics on today, but of course he wakes up this morning and realizes all this news is hitting. So he's like, so let's talk about it. And so she went into a little bit more detail. Of course, she's being cagey on certain things because after all, this is her life's work. Like, this is something that she's been wanting to do. It was something that she wanted to lead at Google while she was there, but Google had different priorities that kind of pushed her in different directions. But I mean, her life's work is all dedicated on high resolution imaging, and that combined with what you were saying, her own history with kind of brain disease, essentially, she wants to really kind of take this high resolution imaging into the world of MRI to create the next generation of MRI, shrinking it down, like you say, into a wearable. So think Google Glass with MRI capability, so that all doctors can wear it and have immediate access to this ability. I don't know. I don't even pretend to understand how this would be possible because MRIs, require such huge,
right.
Mechanical things to
She said it would be
off,
like the size of a ski hat. That's like, we're not talking about an Apple Watch or something, but it's a room-sized technology shrunk down to a hat.
Which is pretty impressive, when you're thinking about kind of what we have now and what she's looking to do. She thinks she can make this happen in a few years' time. She said she's been trying to move towards this since 2005. I also found a talk that she did at Google for We Solve for X that was just really fascinating. It kind of blew my mind, quite literally, where she kind of showed how researchers were able to take scans of the brain and analyze what they see from brain activity based on what someone is looking at versus what they remember looking at. Mm-hmm. And those scans were very similar. And what they can then do from that is, for instance, they could take the MRI scan from somebody and run it through kind of these patterns and these models that they've already, kind of devised with their technology. And they can recreate the image that person saw at the moment that MRI was taken. And there's actually video. If you play the video, Kara, it'll show kind of a little bit of that kind of side by side. But really interesting stuff. And I think that's at the core of this. I think that's really what fascinates her. If you can see on the left is the presented clip, and on the right, that's actually recreated from the MRI scan. And so what she wants to do is she wants to take this and make it higher res, essentially boost the resolution on what they can capture from the brain. And just think of the long-term, there's obviously the saving lives and all that kind of stuff, but you're talking, it also gets into a very gray area of this future where you could be a criminal based on the things that you're thinking, because they can actually capture what is in your mind, what you are thinking, what your mind's eye is seeing, and reconstruct it. And that could criminalize.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
fascinating.
Some of the headlines were like, she wants to develop a wearable that can control your thoughts, Yeah. And it is interesting. I was chastised. I'm not sure if this email was sent to both of us or just me, but for using the word creepy about technology. So I'll instead use disconcerting. Or,
don't use the word interesting. I've already been called out for that word many times.
And I get it. Yeah, like when you talk about face prints or something, it's a little Luddite-ish to call things creepy. But Yeah, so science is fascinating.
Well, and what we were talking about yesterday, as far as like the slippery slope, just I don't know, like or just the fact that if a tool exists, it would be used. And if it doesn't exist, of course, we can't reconstruct the brain to find out what somebody's thinking right now. But in the future, I mean, apparently, they will be able to do a pretty darn good job of it. And what does that mean for the future 20, 30, 40 years down the line? I guess we'll find out.